I think you are muted, Shikha.
Yes, sir, I'm muted because we're also going live, so that is why.
Oh.
हेलो, मेरी आवाज आ रही है? गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
हाँ, गुड मॉर्निंग डॉक्टर साहब, आपकी आवाज आ रही है?
गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग।
और तेज करें या ठीक है इतनी?
सही है।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक
ठीक है।
जब मैं म्यूट कर रहा हूँ तो शिखा की आवाज गायब हो जा रही है, ऐसे क्या, क्यों?
Good morning, Garg sir. Sir, you're muted.
Good morning, Shikaji.
Good morning, Rajiv.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good
All.
morning. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see all the faces after 1 year.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So we are also going live on YouTube simultaneously with a 1 minute gap. There's a delay. VN Garg sir is also with us. Thank you so much, sir.
गुड मॉर्निंग।
हाय प्रदीप, कैसे हैं आप?
बिल्कुल बढ़िया जी।
So we have
meet
still
you
5
virtually.
minutes.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Garg sir, VN Garg sir is also with us. Sir, if you just unmute yourself, then we can check audio video, sir. Video is all right. Just the audio part. So can you unmute yourself? No, you can't. Okay. Sir, are you able to unmute yourself? Garg sir, you're muted, sir.
What
Sir?
about now?
Now I can hear you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All of us are very happy to see you as always.
Thank you.
And Mr. Pradeep Sangwan is also joined us. He's the one who's actually, done a great job. Prime Minister had mentioned him in his Mann Ki Baat.
Yeah, I heard about. I saw his biography and other things on Google.
Right.
And one thing that I share with him is that he is an alumni of DAV College, Chandigarh, and I taught there in 1976.
Wow.
76.
I taught physics there, and somewhere I got that line that he passed out from DAV College, Chandigarh, and then shifted to Himachal Pradesh.
Yes.
And,
To be very
So
honest, sir, during my college days, I was mostly trekking. Didn't really go much to classes.
were you bunking the class, Pradeep? आप bunk कर रहे थे क्या?
नहीं ये तो बाद में आया.
I did my college in 2004-07.
Okay. Okay.
After almost 30 years, I think.
Deep Shrivastava ji, good morning.
प्रदीप जी आपका म्यूट है फोन.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Garg sir, good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Nice to see all of you here.
Joshi sir is also there with us, sir.
Yeah, I just said hello to him.
Yeah.
Joshi sir is here. Yeah.
Good morning, Sangwan sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's a time of Haryana people.
I can see a lot of achievements in the background.
Yeah, there are few hundred.
Which areas you have been trekking, Sangwan sir?
Sir, mostly in Himachal Kulu district and Kinnaur. Primarily two locations.
In Kulu district, where?
In Parvati Valley, Shrikhand Mahadev. In Champa, it's Mani Mahesh.
Okay.
In Rashar Lishi, in Mandi district.
I know all that area like back of my palm.
Okay. All right. So we can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pradeep, sir has been director North Zone of GSI.
Okay. Then you must have been to Amta Pass multiple times.
Oh yes, multiple times. Rohtang Pass multiple times. Baladacha Pass multiple times. In fact, these days I am doing a podcast on all my treks.
Okay. So GSI has a fixed camping site at Shia Goru once we cross the Hamta Pass.
Yeah, as long as I was there, there was we were like nomads from one place to another place. There was no camping site, no road. We trekked all the way from Manali to Leh.
Okay.
Because there was no road.
But now you'll find a lot of plastics along the way. So
Yes,
it will be very disappointing for you.
definitely. I
You
know.
must
I
have
know.
seen the best of the
Even
location.
pictures are so disappointing.
Harish ji has also joined Shikhaji, our president, IIT Roorkee Alumni Association Lucknow chapter. He has also just joined. Good morning,
Okay.
sir.
Good morning, Harishji, and thank you so much, because today, if I'm able to do this event, it is because of the support that I got from IIT Roorkee Alumni Association. They have provided me the Zoom platform, and I'm able to do it smoothly. And Anuji is especially grateful to him, because he has enabled me to do this, because I'm totally a duffer in technology usage. I don't know, but he's groomed me and I just pray that everything goes fine. So I think we can start if I think it's just hitting 1 more minute. We'll wait and then we'll start. It's just 1 minute. We'll start.
Couple of minutes for latecomers.
It's one. I think it's 59, 10:59 by my watch. So
Dr. Shikhaji, namaskar.
namaste,
Namaskar,
sir.
everyone. Dr.
Sir,
Pradeep ji,
good morning,
namaskar.
sir. Namaskar, sir. Good
Namaskar,
morning, sir.
namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
Joshi ji, namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, namaskar, sir. Namaskar,
Viyankar
nice
ji,
to see you.
namaskar.
Namaskar,
Agarwal ji,
sir.
namaskar.
Welcome you here.
Sir,
God bless,
namaskar.
God bless, God bless. Namaskar. Harish Chandra ji,
Namaskar,
namaskar.
sir.
Sir, namaskar.
काफी एनर्जी लिया है सर आप एकदम से।
अभी
एनर्जी
थोड़ा
की स्रोत और गंगोत्री तो डॉक्टर शिखाजी मौजूद ही हैं, और उसमें विज्ञान का पुट आप दे देते हैं कि हमारे ऐसे जो ठस हैं बिलो 100 IQ वाले, वो भी समझ लेते हैं E is equal to MC square, वरना हमारे लिए तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाए अगर आप ऐसे मनीषी ना हो।
सर, आपका IQ कितना बड़ा है ये हम लोग सब जानते हैं। अब भले ही साइंस और मैथ्स में ना हो, लेकिन बाकी चीजों में जो आपका IQ हम लोग हमेशा उसको अप्रिशिएट करते हैं।
हरीश चंद्र जी, आपका प्रेम है, मैं क्या कहूँ।
I think this is the time when we can begin with our event, and in fact, it's a fantastic beginning when all are very respected just on the panel, and also the ones who are our guru, especially for this event. You all are our guru who have already joined us, and we started with your blessings, sir. So. Good morning, all ladies, gentlemen, and also the children who have joined from across the country to this event. Swayam, Siddha and Indian Oil Corporation Limited welcome you to this very, very unique event where you listen to the environmentalist about the environment, but simultaneously you listen to the nature. You listen to all those who align with the rules of nature, with the principles of nature, with the values of nature, with the culture of nature, and they are very rare in this world now. And we are very fortunate that all of them, they have been some way or other connected to this event. I'm very grateful to our guests right now who are there on this panel. To begin with, I express my gratitude and welcome wholeheartedly with my team. All of us get very excited when our gurus consent, because they've been always there. We are able to do this even because of them. But when they make their presence and then also address, all of us get very excited. So with all gratitude, I welcome Dr. Vikram Singh. Dr. Vikram Singh, who is, a very well-known personality across the country, and then, as Pradeep was mentioning, when he's there even for a minute, the entire environment energizes. He's been blessing this event since its inception, and every time when he consents, we all team members have a faith things will go absolutely fine. So, sir, welcome you to this event. We have with us Sri V.N. Garg, sir. He's been a mentor to many, and I'm very privileged that I'm one of them. Sir has nurtured this event, by the words of wisdom that he shared with me. He groomed me how to conduct this event, and it has actually held his hand to become whatever it has become now. And with all his blessing and his, his nurturing, I think we will keep touching the higher altitude. So we welcome you, sir, to this event, and we're very happy to have you here. I'm sure Ma'am Ashima Singh would be joining us shortly. She's already here. And Ashima Singh, madam, is someone I really fail to describe the kind of support I get from her. She's actually a mother figure to this event. The way she owns this event, the way she keeps waking me up, say, Ashika, what you doing? She has her own creative idea, which make this event very unique. She is the person who's my ideal, and she's the person who's ideal to many. She is with us. I welcome her. Ma'am, you're welcome to this event. This event this year, today, we have three very young environmentalists who have joined us. And they're the one who will inspire all of us, be it the youngster or be, the elder like me, or the seniors like, many here, including me. We are inspired. So I begin with Mr. Pradeep Sangwan. Mr. Pradeep Sangwan is actually running an organization which actually practices what is the name of this organization, Healing Himalayas. He's the one who has been able to clear 7 lakh kilos of waste from Himalayas with his team. He was specifically mentioned by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Singh Ji Modi in his Man Ki Baat. And I'm very grateful to Punky Sood, who is able to connect me to Pradeep Sangwan and is with us. Pradeep, welcome you wholeheartedly. All of us are very excited. I know it has a demonstration effect when you share your story with everybody. So welcome to this forum.
Thank you.
We have on this panel Ms. Tulika Rani. She would be shortly there with us. She is someone who brings pride to all of us, and more specifically to women. The young lady has scaled almost all the difficult peaks of the world. And she's the one who is, who's the one who's dedicated to environment. She's a motivational speaker also. She's also on our panel. I welcome her. I welcome a child turning into a youth environmentalist, Aditya Mukherjee. At the age of 13, Aditya was able to actually force 150 organizations of Delhi to ban single-use plastic. And he is now a grown-up young boy. He's having exams, so he'll be shortly with us, joining us. In this forum, we have, I have a pleasure to share with you. So last 2 years, this event has gone, beyond the boundaries of Lucknow and Uttar Pradesh. In this event today, we have children participating from 4 states. Many of them have joined YouTube link so that they can see YouTube live. These 4 states are West Bengal, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Andhra Pradesh. 75 children from 9 schools of 4 states have participated this year for a contest called Postal Competition. And they are contesting for Dr. Veerbhadra Mishra Trophy, the very prestigious trophy. So the results would also be announced at the end of it. So they are there. I would be very honored and privileged to mention the name and welcome the mentors of this event, the mentors of mine, especially VK Joshi sir. Without his mentoring, I think I wouldn't be able to design any event. So he's the one who grooms me with a small thing to big thing. So VK Joshi sir is there. Welcome you, sir. We have a very amazing personality, Dr. Pradeep Shrivastava, who is internationally known as a scientoonist, who has created a new discipline in the world called scientoonics. And he is today anchoring the entire program. This is something very amazing. An anchor provides you a very rich knowledge and understanding is something amazing, which is going to do today. So Dr. Pradeep Shrivastava is with us. We have many other mentors like Dr. Venkatesh Datta, and also Augustine Valiant is there. Augustine has been the one who since beginning with us. So Augustine is with us. Last year he was not able to join, but he is with us. So Augustine Valiant is with us. We have Mr. Harish, who is IIT Roorkee Alumni Association. He is with us. So welcome everyone. Welcome all the children and welcome a few journalists who have joined us. Friends, all of you know that this is dedicated, I have dedicated this day to my father. I lost him in 2006 on 23rd August. And from 2008 onwards, I'm dedicating an event in his memory. And people ask me, why do you do it on environment, whether he was an environmentalist? I wish to say only one thing. Our father is the most precious position, is the most precious thing. Whether he holds a very high position or whether he is a father of a street child, he is the same most precious person on this earth. And when the most precious person on earth, you want to dedicate something, you know, the other most precious thing is nature. So that is why I dedicate this day to him. It is in his memory. So I would not, because there are many great speakers who are there and you wish to hear them. So I would not take much time. I'll simply hand it over to Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, who's going to take you to these speaker through his sign tunes. So over to you, Dr. Pradeep. You're here.
Thank you, Dr. Shikha Tripathi. A very good morning to a galaxy of eminent people today. I think each one is a dictionary, each one is a very big achiever, each one is very inspiring. And I'll show you a few things, then we'll go to the main program. And see, we are attending today a webinar. And as you know, we were not knowing about the webinar before the lockdown. We were all knowing conferences, seminar, all these things, but webinar came during the lockdown when we were all locked inside our house. So webinar is basically a seminar which is conducted over the net or the web. And what is the advantage here? People sitting in different parts of the country, different parts of the world can be connected with each other. They can see each other. They can comment, they can chat, and they can interact. So that is the best part. But one more interesting thing is there. If you see the speaker here and his lower dress. So what is the advantage? You know, if you are attending a webinar, hardly matters what you're wearing at the lower side, you know, because mostly the upper portion is visible. And here is the person who is a speaker. He says, darling, my webinar is going to start very soon. Before that, I deliver the talk. Can I get a cup of tea, please? So first speaker is Pradeep Sangwan. And as you know, today Haryana is in limelight. Haryana has given 3 jewels in the recent Olympics. Our gold medalist, our silver medalist, and the bronze medalist, you know. So Neeraj Chopra, Ravi Dahiya, and then Bajrang Punia, the 3 heroes, you know. And I think today I'm going to listen to the 4th hero, Pradeep Sangwan. He was mentioned by the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, in his famous radio talk every Sunday, that is Man Ki Baat. And I want to tell you that this gem person from Haryana, Pradeep Sangwan, has cleared 7 lakh waste from Himalayas. I think it's a great achievement for him to do it. And he has got a team of dedicated volunteers, and they visit different areas of Himalayas and they clear mostly the plastic waste dumped by the tourists. So it's a big job, you know, because now our hills, you know, especially the mountains, including even the Everest, they are going to be a dumping grounds of waste by the travelers, by the visitors. And it is an uphill task to clear the whole thing. So I think we are going to listen his story, how he has achieved it and how will inspire others, you know, with other people. And here I want to show you one thing. There is a person, he collects cigarette butts. And can you imagine cigarette butts waste 6.5 trillion cigarettes each year? Can you imagine? These are the butts, you know, which are collected by the people. And that's 18 billion every day. That is the kind of waste. And you imagine the people who are doing this job is doing a very big thing, you know. So here is the person and he is remembering an old song, you know, मैं हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया, मैं हर प्लानेट अपने पूरे प्लानेट को पोल्यूट कराता चला गया. And you remember this picture also when our Prime Minister visited Mahabalipuram. And that time he spared his time to clean the beaches, collected waste, plastic and all that. So I think this was something very unique, from the Prime Minister to give a lesson to the others, to the younger generation, the people who are concerned with everything, about the environment. So with these words, I think it's a great honor for me. It's a great privilege for me to welcome a real hero, a real achiever, a real inspirer, real motivator, Pradeep Sangwan. Please.
Thank you so much. That was really, inspiring to listen itself. And thank you, Dr. Shikha, that you introduced me to such, wonderful human beings from whom I can learn a lot in terms of, scientific facts and all that. So my name is Pradeep Sangwan, and I originally belong to Haryana, a small town back then. Now it's a district called Charkhi Dadri, and I did my schooling from a military school Ajmer it was. And from there, I had a very disciplined life. Even if you don't want to, military schools are such that they give you a lot of education and a very strict routine. And then post that, I was supposed to go to the armies, but somehow, after my written exam, I couldn't clear SSB. And from there, I decided to go to Chandigarh. Did my graduation from Chandigarh, DAV College, Punjab University. And from Punjab University, I got the habit of trekking around, traveling around. And after 7 years of, very dedicated, disciplined life, I got to, spread a little bit of my wings. And that's where I got introduction from my friends that there are Himalayas out there. You might want to, travel. And they used to talk a lot about trekking. So that's where I got fascinated, actually. And during my college days, instead of going to the classes, I started going for treks with my friends. And it wasn't like first sight love kind of a thing for me to the mountains. But eventually, after my graduation, I moved down to Himalayas in 2009. And since then, I'm there. First couple of years were very difficult for me in the mountains because I didn't know much about the terrain, the topography, the culture, and the, how to prepare myself for the winters. But eventually, after staying there for a couple of years, I realized that how exactly I need to prepare myself for the upcoming season, whether it's monsoon or the winters, things like that. And then in one of the treks, it happened with me that I met a beautiful, community called Shepherd. And they travel all across the Himalayan region from an altitude of, maybe around 1800 meters to 6000 meters. And they keep on traveling throughout the year. And I spent some time with them, during one of my treks from Chandatal Lake to Surastal Lake. There is a beautiful lake in Spiti or Lahore, you could say. So I was trekking from there and there wasn't a soul to meet. So along that route, I met a couple of people. I was stuck because of the rain and I couldn't cross this small river. It's called Tokpo or it's Tibetan name for that. And we got stuck there, me and my friend, and we were forced to spend some time with this community called Shepherd. And there were two guys, I still remember their name, Bharu and Hansraj. And, they offered us best of the meals and we stayed with them for 3 to 4 days and they had so many stories to tell us. And during those days, I realized that, these people, they live very close to nature. They spend most of their time in the most rigorous part of the world, the third pole of the world, Himalayas, and yet they are so close to the nature and they don't disturb anything around them. Their lifestyle is very eco-friendly. And during those times, I saw that there's a huge influx of or substantial tourism started coming in, especially in the remote Himalayan region. And I realized the people who are coming down to the mountains, their purpose was very different. They never meant to explore, they never meant to connect. And so that's where I realized, why not this small piece of education that I got from the shepherd community must be transferred to the youngsters who are coming down to the Himalayas. Not everybody is sensitive about the their lifestyle, but this can be some sort of education that needs to be imparted, because most of the people who are coming into the mountains, they were very well educated. They had enough money to travel around. They were in a position to make their own decisions, but somehow they never took the challenge or the task to keep their surroundings clean, especially while trekking and traveling. And we started saying that you just follow the plastic and you'll reach your destination. When we talk about a trek route, that was the saying that has started happening. So if somebody is lost, the whole idea was that if you don't see plastic, then you might have lost your way. That was the saying that everybody started saying for the track routes, and that was very disappointing. So finally, after wandering into the mountains for multiple years, I found my path, and I thought, let's share it with my family, which wasn't a very good idea back then. I told them that, I'm going to clear up all the waste that has been thrown by somebody else. And my father responded, the first sentence he said that, so ये जो side वाला plot है घर के, इसमें भी बहुत गंदगी है. Start it from here. And then, it was difficult to, then I took up the challenge, I cleaned the place, and then I said, now I'm moving down to the Himalayas, my favorite place, and I'm going to clear up all the waste that has been thrown. And so he wasn't very, agreeable to the thought. So he put up a challenge that let's see if you can do this and come back to me after 2 years now and do this task. So I never went home for 2 years. I started, I was used to trekking, but I was never used to trekking and cleaning at the same time. So how exactly, problems are related with the cleaning up the waste at the track routes, how to engage the communities, how to engage the volunteers who are coming down for trek, how to make them travel for a purpose, track for a purpose. And that's when I started Healing Himalayas as a community wherein people can get together, they go out for a trek, everybody wants to trek, explore, that's okay with us. But once in a year, maybe once in a 6 months, come down to the mountains, do trekking for a purpose, traveling for a purpose, and realize how deeply you can connect with the nature through this whole process of cleaning up the waste. And in first year, the first cleaning drive that I organized, I was passionate about it, obviously, and I did a little bit of cleaning in the first trek. I ended up, picking up 5 bags of waste. Then the second part came into the picture, and that was, okay, it's okay to be passionate about something, but there are, a lot of things attached to one particular thing. Now you have collected the waste. How exactly are you going to dispose of it? Now, let me tell you, my background doesn't really support what I'm doing right now, but, because of my school, uh, I it gave me an edge over everybody else because I was dedicated enough. I had a very disciplined life. I was physically fit, so I could do it. Now, all I needed to know how exactly I'm going to sustain this whole process, how exactly I'm going to dispose of waste, which is one of the most difficult aspects, because there has been many questions that is keep on coming to me that, we have been doing cleaning drives, but what exactly do we do with the waste that we have collected? There are no municipal corporation in our area. There are no proper waste disposal mechanisms. Even if we give it to a municipal corporation, they'll dump it in a dumping site. So all I'm doing, all we are doing is placement of the waste from one location to another. So that was one of the demotivating factors for me. So eventually I realized we need to do something beyond cleanups, because cleaning up is one thing wherein we motivate people to come out in a Gandhian way and, get their hands dirty, be a part of the solution. But if you want to make it holistic, what are the options out there, that how exactly that I would propose in a topography such as Himalayas, which is very difficult to maintain the pace of organizing cleaning drives, maintaining the pace of engaging communities, and at the same time maintaining a relationship with the bureaucrats, that they should come down and see their problem for themselves. So there were multiple questions in the first year that I had to face, I had to figure out eventually. First was how to dispose of collected waste. Then I realized how exactly our state governments or the central governments or the municipal corporation bodies or ULBs are disposing the waste, collected waste. So I was very disappointed to see that most of the metro cities, they are a big flop in terms of disposing our waste properly. It is only because of the rag pickers or safai karamcharis. They are the real workers who've been, segregating, collecting waste and properly recycling it through multiple challenges. So they are the, real warriors here. That's what I realized in my first year, that municipal corporations are in a way that they just pick up and dump it at one location. They're not exactly disposing it up, or maybe making a part of that waste a value chain, or maybe a circular economy. So in 3 years, I thought that, let's keep on exploring the idea. How exactly? In the third year, I realized that I need to create some sort of system wherein I can collect the waste, store it, segregate it, and further recycle it. But that needed a lot of money. So I started approaching corporates and multiple people, individuals, and they came up for the help. And, after 3 years, in my 4th year, I started identifying locations. So how exactly do we identify that location? So in terms of tourism, the amount of tourism that is coming to one particular destination, we need to figure out that first. And if they are popular destinations, we need to create some sort of solutions around that. So along with cleaning drives were basically for me to break the ice with the local communities, educate them, aware them, and then once they are aware enough, they'll ask what exactly do we do with our waste. And that's where we started building these small scale waste collection units or material recovery facilities all across the upper Himalayan region. We recently built our first waste collection center or material recovery facility, wherein we have 3 villages in Kinnauр district, Rakcham, Chitkul, Sangla Valley is called. And we collect waste from these 3 villages. We take it down to the MRF facility, material recovery facility, that's what we call it. And there we segregate it. Now, after segregating, there are multiple options that we can do. If we get segregated waste, it's not waste, it's a material that can be reused, recycled, and used for multiple purposes. So, for example, MLP, multi-layer packaging plastic, which is one of the biggest problems that we are facing, and especially our environment. So MLP can be used for multiple purposes. Can go for waste to energy plants, can be given to waste to fuel, alternate fuel option. Third, there are technologies now that wherein they are making stools, chairs out of it, MLP especially. Now PET, plastic bottles, there are already so much of options. Can be recycled, can be manufactured into multiple things that we wear on a day-to-day basis, shoes, polyester, t-shirts, shorts, multiple things. Now glass bottles. What should we do with the glass bottles? So recently, in 2019, Government of India came up with the policy. It's called EPR, Extended Producers Responsibility. Now, this policy, has a lot of positive sides. There's one downside of it, which is that through this policy, now the manufacturers can manufacture anything they want, irrespective of the quantity. But through this policy, what is happening around us is that whatever any company, any manufacturer that produces throughout the year, they need to collect it back and dispose of it with the municipal corporations. Doesn't really matter if the waste belongs to them or not. It needs to be in the quantity rather than the brand itself. So through EPR, we are sending our glass bottles to liquor companies who are going to recycle it, reuse it. So this is what's been happening in the rural Himalayan region, wherever our presence is there. And cleaning drives, creating facilities, holistic approach. These are the 2 aspects that we have added, and now we are we are providing solutions all across the Himalayan. Now we are trying to replicate the model. We started with 1, and we are looking forward to at least build 5 more MRFs all across Himalayan region in the coming years. Now this is one thing for the youngsters, all those who are listening or going to listen to this chat. Let me tell you, just to become who I am right now, you don't really need to go to NASA or somewhere else. You can, just be wherever you are. You just identify a location, start making small changes. Start with your own lifestyle. How exactly in today's times, I've seen that there is a lot of education going on around environment in the schools. Not in our times. We were hardly, we were just forced to do plantation, cut the trees in the military school. That was one of the routines. Some say what we used to call it. And we never wanted to be a part of it, but eventually realized how important it was for us to be a part of that whole thing. Nowadays, there's a lot of education around environment. Lots of facts and figures are given in the books, but know-how is one thing, implementing is another. So there are less doers, more of people who keep on storing the education, all the facts and figures, but not really implementing those ideas. That's one of the biggest problems as a country we are facing. Considering we are one of the youngest nations in the world, there is so much of potential. Rather than just traveling, exploring, travel and explore for a purpose. Make it purposeful. Yes, once in a while, loosen yourself, do whatever you want to do, but come back to the reality and figure out that how exactly you can be a part of the larger scheme of things. Starting with your lifestyle. One of the basic things, one of the most important things, one of the things that is under your control is your lifestyle, wherein you can do so many things, small steps, but very impactful in the long run. For example, switching to bamboo brush, one of the simplest things. You might have seen it. There are so many ads nowadays. Even big brands also started coming down to this whole concept of creating sustainable items, more eco-friendly items. All we need to do is start using that, adopt that thing.
Excuse me, kindly mute, please.
One of the backbenchers. Anyways, so lifestyle is the most important aspect in today's times. We educate ourselves in the classrooms, but then we go up spending so much of money on buying online stuff, so much of shopping, so much of unnecessary materials that are not required. So create that balance. That's one of the most important aspects. Unless and until you become a scientist and you give some solutions around plastics, in the meantime, focus on those small, simple things, because that's what I have realized. I wasn't like this always. In my college time, I used to track. I never knew that, what kind of footprints that I was creating. But along the way, I realized it. And once I realized it, I'm trying to, make people adopt the same thing, which is, creating multi-level marketing system in a way, like MA did, that creating people who believe in your cause, who can support the cause in their own way. You not necessarily need to come down to the mountains to support the cause. Wherever you are, do your bit in small, simple ways, starting with your lifestyle. And there are multiple things. I can always tell you my sob story, that how, sideways it was for me in my initial years, that how difficult it was me to start the simplest of the things. To just, when you start doing something good for the society, you will face lots of difficulties. When you are chup chap and doing your own stuff, then nobody is going to bother you. You just live your way. That's one of the things. So people will test you. They'll, check that how soon you are going to fall. But once you cross that threshold, there is so much beyond that. Once you cross that negative few kilometers of negativity, then you are there, and you'll not fall back, and you'll motivate so many people around you, and especially the youngsters. You need to focus on your lifestyle. That's one of the things that still is under your control. Once you get a job, when you get some sort of authority, when you become more sustainable, more independent, you can take so many decisions around you. Rather than, if you're in metro cities, I've seen how people spend their weekend. They waste lots of money, lots of energy that can be put up for a better use. And whenever I come down to Gurgaon NCR in winters, I see people keep on complaining, we don't really have much to do during the weekends. Let's go to this club, let's go to this bar, and let's go to this market, spend some money that we have been earning, that we've been so much craving for. But find a different route. There are so many things that one can do in their lifestyle. Just one simple step, you feel the change, you feel confident. That's the one thing that you need to create around you. Very small step will make you very confident, and then you can push yourself beyond your boundaries. You can venture beyond the less trodden paths. I'm not saying that everybody should come down to the mountains and do what I am doing or become a shepherd, but be a shepherd of your own life wherever you are. That's one of the most important aspect that I feel. You don't necessarily need to quit your job. Within your job, there are so many things that one can do. If you are working in a corporate sector, if you're in a company, how exactly can you make your company more green? There are multiple things. How exactly you can make your birthday more green, rather than investing so much of money on cake and plastic cutleries and multiple things? How exactly can you make it more sustainable? No, it's not necessary. It's not important that you come down and pick up waste. Reduce your waste, minimize your waste, and that's one of the most important aspects. Now you can Google a lot about these facts and figures, how many waste we are generating per capita, and in coming 10 years, how much more we are going to generate as we are developing and we are becoming more developed. Then how much footprints that we are going to increase on a daily basis. These are all there on the Google. But what is not there is how to utilize that knowledge, how to utilize that energy in your lifestyle. And then once you start doing it, it's a matter of few days. You need to, if you want to change a habit, all you need to do is continue doing it for 21 days, and in those 21 days you can change that habit. As simple as that. And this is what I've been doing, and I've realized that initially I was very, very scared, to be very honest. And let me start with my sob story also a little bit, so that you can kind of relate if you start towards that. So in my initial days, it was very difficult. My father kind of thrown me out of my house. I never really, have a house in Himachal. I was totally dependent on my friends who've been working in the corporate sector. They used to send a little bit of money every month, and in that money, I used to organize cleanup drives. I never bought anything for myself. I had one Jeep back then. I had to sell it off just to start healing Himalayas. So there were multiple sacrifices that I had done in my past, and I will keep on doing it unless and until everybody. It's difficult to bring 136 crore people on one platform to one particular understanding, but my task is, I'm not under any sort of illusion that I'll clear up all the mountains from plastic waste. But one thing is for sure, that I have dedicated my life, and I'm looking for people who can do the same, at least within their lifestyles, not necessarily in the mountains. So this is all. I think I've taken up enough time. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it was great to hear your story, your inspiring comments. And I think one thing which impressed me very much is that be a part of the solution. That is the take-home message I think you have given to all of us. We always point out the problems, but I think time has come now to be a part of the solution, and that's how we can make a change. So thank you so much for sparing your time for Swayam Siddha. I think all the young generation who is watching to you, and all the people who say that they have what to do on Saturdays and Sundays. Here is something, which can inspire, make a little change, and you can change the world. I think that is something very great. Thank you so much, Pradeep Sangwan, for sharing your story. Now, I'll take you to the next speaker, Squadron Leader Tulika Rani, first woman from UP to scale Mount Everest. I think it's a great thing. But before that, I want to tell you quickly, something, how many trees we have in our country, Canada, if you see per person, there are around 8,953 trees. In Russia, 4,461 trees. I'm talking about the nature, how nature is getting disbalanced and all the problems of global warming, climate change is coming. In America also, even America, per person, 716 trees are there. But in India, we have only 28 trees. I think this is the biggest challenge we have to cool our country, I think, and save it from climate change and global warming. We have to increase this tree plantation. So this is my very popular sign tool you might have seen in the past. Here you can see two people, father, son is there, and the son is asking that we are carrying oxygen cylinder. I remember this cartoon is actually happening after 1,000 years, that means 3021. And the boy is asking that I heard that in 2020 and 2021, they were wearing masks, simple masks to cover their nose and mouth, but not oxygen cylinder. Why it was possible that time? The dad is telling because of the very unique thing that existed on Earth in the year 2020. And that thing was having a green top and brown base, and it was called a tree. So I think this is the situation where we are going. And before that, I want to share with you a story of a young girl, Kriti Karant. She lives in Karnataka, and actually what happened, in Karnataka, there is a Bandipur Tiger Reserve. And in Tamil Nadu side, there is another tiger reserve is there, that is Mudubulai forest. So among this forest, there are many villages out there. And these tigers, they often go to the people who are living in the villages and kill their buffaloes and cows or bulls. So what happened? The villagers used to get angry and kill these tigers. This lady came up with the idea and went to the villagers, and she said, by chance, if any of the animal is killed by this tiger, don't kill the tiger, we will compensate you. And this way, what happened, she at least saved 14,000 claims she has settled. That means 14,000 times she saved the life of tigers. This is something very inspiring. And because of one simple action of this lady, like you just heard Pradeep Sangwan, if we all can decide today to do something, I think that in future it will be something very good. So before that, I think I should come back to the speaker, Squadron Leader Tulika Rani, and she's ex-Indian Air Force officer, mountaineer, Everester. I think it's a very new thing I heard. Motivational speaker and TEDx Toastmaster and keynote speaker. She served in the Indian Air Force for 10 years and an outdoor training of instructor in the Air Force Academy, and has trained hundreds of future officers in military training. With 23 mountaineering and trekking expeditions in India, Nepal, Bhutan, Iran, Africa, and Russia. She is the first woman from the state of UP, our own state, to climb Mount Everest, and first Indian woman to climb Asia's highest volcano, Mount Damawan in Iran. As a phenomenal speaker, she has delivered over 100 talks and interviews in India, USA, UK, Bulgaria, and Italy on such forums as TEDx, Toastmasters, Rotary International, FICCI, ITC, Infotech, radio and TV channels. Her short stories, poems, and articles on gender issues, travel and adventure sports, Buddhism, Tibetan community, environment, and humanity are regularly published. She has achieved several awards for doing this wonderful work, and the most prestigious is Rani Lakshmi Bai Bravery Award, Outstanding Globe Women Award, Global Excellence Award, Globe Icon Award, Aspiring She Power Award for Courage and Resilience, and Real Super Women Award. So with these words, I would like to welcome the squadron leader Tulika Rani, and I'm so proud that she's from my state only, that is UP. Please.
Namaskar. Thank you, Jayan, Mr. Srivastava, for giving me this platform. I'm really elated to be on this talk today, because this is very close to my heart, as environment preservation is the talk of the town nowadays at the global level. And recently I was listening to a report by IPCC, and the report was about the future of Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean, which is our own ocean, I would say that Indian Peninsula is called a peninsula because of the presence of Indian Ocean. And we all are very much aware of its importance, not only in the environmental preservation, but also in economic activity, our own survival. And as a global survival tool, Indian Ocean is important. So this report was alarming increasingly for me, because now the global environmental crisis is knocking at our very door. So we read about all these reports coming out from United Nations facilities and everything. But why, despite all these reports, all these researches, all this discussion around environmental preservation, a question that comes to my mind is why we haven't achieved anything substantial as of now. So this is going to remain a talk, or are there any kind of efforts in this direction? Are we going to do something about this impending crisis? We have recently faced a huge crisis to human beings, and that was the corona pandemic. It is still not over yet. And what the scientists have warned us, warned the entire humanity, is that even a bigger crisis is in making and is in future for all of us, and that is going to be the environmental challenge. So what are we as a human race, a human community, are going to do for our own survival? Are we going to just wait for a pandemic like corona to hit us again, and then we will wake up as is the nature of human beings? Or are we going to take some concrete steps in the direction of preventing this thing from happening? I go back to a topic which is going to give an answer to this question of mine and this question of the world. And that is why I chose this topic to speak on today: cleanse your inner environment to protect the outer. We might carry out a number of research that give us statistics to alarm us, to warn us, but till the time we look within at our inner environment, we are not going to succeed to a large extent in preventing this outer environment that is enveloping us from being destroyed. And that is why I have chosen to speak on this particular topic. Now, I will take all of our audience back to the roots of our living. And that root, I suppose that every human being is closely interlinked and is attached to one's core values. To a large extent, these core values are given to us by our religious teachings. So apart from people who are atheists or who do not believe in one particular religion or any religion for that matter, I would say that a large chunk of human population believes in religious values. And that is why I give much emphasis on this aspect of human life. Any religion for that matter, if we read the core values of any religion, we would realize that it talks about a harmonious living with nature. Today itself, I was reading about Buddha and his teachings, Asteya Aparigraha. Asteya and Aparigraha means no stealing from anybody and do not hoard unnecessary things, no accumulation of material things as well as wealth. Now, this is from where stems our way of life. So no accumulation of unnecessary things. We are living in a kind of a web of material possessions. And the more we have the material possessions, the more we think that we are successful and we have more prestige. Now, this is the very root cause of all the destruction that we are racking upon ourselves. So if we read about Hinduism also again, we have this nature worship right from the way of Indus civilization. So people worship, the worship of snakes. In Kerala, we have a concept of sacred groves. Sacred groves, that means that a part of forest is reserved only for the nature. Human beings are prohibited to enter into that sacred grove. Similarly, in certain countries, we have a concept of, including in India, we have a concept of sacred mountain tops. People are not allowed to set foot on a mountain top or climbing also, for that matter, onto that mountain. Now, why all these concepts were embedded in our ancient life? Today, we might realize the reason of it, because it was essential to keep certain parts of nature, at least, beyond the reach of human beings, until and unless human beings realize their own limits. Gandhiji, whom we call the father of our nation, gave us the Mool mantra of a harmonious living with nature when he said, when he told the comparison between the need and the greed. So today, we can also realize in what direction we are moving. Are we only living a minimalistic life which fulfills our needs, or are we more inclined to fulfill our desires and the greed? Where greed comes, then we are encroaching upon the need of many others. Ecosystem. Now, how are we going to protect this ecosystem? When we realize that our needs, when they turn into greeds, they are now taking away somebody else's needs. And those can be either other human beings, or they can be other living creatures, or even for that matter, we are also violating the non-living component of the ecosystem. Now, this was a discussion as to what's wrong is happening. But as Srivastava sir was telling recently, if we have now acknowledged that there is a problem, what are we going to do about it? We have to become a part of the solution. And in my understanding, that solution has to be a holistic one, where we encompass all the components of our society. And the very first component of our society is the family. So I would take these steps in compartment-wise and then integrate all of them together. I would say that first of all, when a child is growing in a family, it becomes incumbent on the elders to make that child realize that he or she is not living alone on this planet. There are multitudes of creatures, small as well as big, who are existing with her. So what I do in my personal capacity is, we have 2 children in our family, and I take them into our garden. So I have taught them colors by showing them the colors of a tree, by showing them the color of a flower, or for that matter, a butterfly. I even make sure that they notice the centipede crawling into our garden and an earthworm living inside the earth. And I tell them the significance of their existence in the benefit of ours, as well as in the benefit of the entire ecosystem. That way they realize that even a small creature living inside the earth has its significance in the preservation and the entire whole system of life and ecosystem. In the schools, I would say that that is the next step. So in the schools, it is incumbent on the teachers, on the entire staff of the school to make the children realize that this interlinkage has to be extended in all directions. So do not just focus on completing their syllabus when it comes to biology, when it comes to physics, chemistry. I would say that have an integrated approach. Teachers can change the humanity for betterment. And that is why I was impacted myself by one of our teachers when he taught us geography, not from the point of view of geography only. He said history has impacted geography. Economics is closely interrelated with geography, and the Lord, the God that you worship in the form of a stone. So stones are worshipped at many places in India. When you worship that stone has come somewhere from high above in the river, and after conquering many obstacles, thereafter, when it has overtaken all those hurdles and obstacles, it has become rounded, and then it has come to you in the form of a round stone, and now you worship it. So that way, he also taught us the courses of nature, how a river flows originating from the Himalayas, then coming into the plains, and then going into the Bay of Bengal finally. And through it, how a stone is transported from the mountaintop to the plains where people worship it. So that way, religion, society, economy, everything is interconnected. When we teach our children in this manner, they realize that everything has a place in this world. And we do not have to take religious teachings also only from that way. It is interlinked with the environment also. Now coming on to the part of the government, because government makes rules and regulations and regulates a huge part of human life and society living in that country. So herein, I would like to give an example of Bhutan. I have had the pleasure of visiting Bhutan 4 times. And I have traveled Bhutan through the entire width of this country. The most beautiful thing I realized was in schools, every child had a plant planted by him or her, and their name was written in front of this plant. They were responsible for its maintenance, and they used to keep a record of its progress also. So that manner, when a child is growing up with a tree, do you ever think that that person, when he or she grows up, would be able to cut a tree ever? That tree is her friend. That tree has grown up with her. So that way, this environmental preservation is embedded in the child's psyche. We do not have to give any reports to that child to show that cutting of trees is not good for the environment. It is embedded now in their way of life. Another thing that was really heartening in Bhutan was that the government in their constitution has embedded this idea of maintaining 60% of tree cover at all times. Now, herein comes the debate about environmental preservation and the development being contradictory. Are they really that contradictory that we cannot harmonize these two things and we cannot bring a balance between these two? So a tiny nation in Himalaya, our own neighbor, is showing the way in this aspect by endorsing a unique philosophy of gross national happiness. Gross national happiness has 4 pillars to it, and one of it is environmental preservation, along with cultural preservation, good governance also. So all these things, whether you call it a good governance, you call it cultural preservation, it is interlinked again with the environmental preservation, because human beings' life, socio-religious also, economic also, is closely linked with the environment. So Bhutan is an example for the entire world to follow. I would like all the governments in this world to take a leaf out of the book of this tiny nation. It is the only carbon negative country in the entire world. So can we balance the environmental preservation and development? We can, I suppose, because a nation has already done so. So here in business, as Mr. Pradeep Sangwan was recently talking about, in business approach also, what can we do? Can businesses reconcile their idea of profit with the environmental preservation? They can very well. There are again examples of people going with the flow of environmental preservation. Society has a huge role to play over here again. As we were recently listening to the tales of the courage as well as vision of these people, a few people only. I'm sure there are many more people like Mr. Pradeep Sangwan and Kriti who are active in the field of preservation of environment. So on multiple fronts, we would have these movements happening, I would say. So when you have the psyche that environment is important for us, people from the society itself will take that leap forward. They will not wait for the government. They will not wait even for a report or anything that comes from their conscience. So herein I would like to, since I'm a mountaineer, I would like to speak a little bit about mountains here. What I have observed during various climbs in various countries is that mountains do not exist in isolation, neither do the life on plains. So again, the interlinkage is important here, because the rivers, most of the rivers, at least in the context of Asia as well as India specifically, they originate in the Himalayas. Now, this is a gift of nature to us, gift of God to us. Most of our rivers, when they originate from there, they come down to plains. And as we see in the Tarai region, most of the population survives on the river banks. That means life in plains is again dependent on the water that is coming down from the glaciers in the mountains. So when we venture into mountains, whether as a trekker or as a mountaineer or to do any kind of adventure activity, how we perceive the mountains is also essential and important. What I have done during my climbs is that I interact with the people living in the mountains and find out their relationship with the mountains, how they live in harmony with the mountains, what is it that is causing harm to their fragile ecosystem, and what would they want to stop, what would they want to improve further. That way, my own awareness of life being dependent on mountains is being increased. Further on, when we come down, we can spread this awareness in the people in the life also. Because what happens with human beings, they have a shell created around themselves. Having a broad vision, a vision that goes beyond individual is also important, but it only comes with a lot of knowledge, wisdom, as well as exposure. It becomes the duty of those who have had that kind of exposure, either through reading or traveling, to spread this exposure, this awareness in people who are not that fortunate. So as a mountaineer, as a writer, I feel that this is my duty to spread this awareness through my presentations, through my talks, through my writings. Now that is also a way of contributing. I really salute the spirit of people like Mr. Sangwan and Ms. Kriti, who are doing it on the ground level and making a human contribution in the environmental preservation. Other people can do their bit by small steps towards it. When we live in a family, we can have a terrace garden. We can have at least one flower vase in which we can plant a small tree. I would prefer that you make your child do this. In the schools, I have already talked about how the teachers can impart that environmental consciousness to a child. As a society, we can take steps. As a government, we can learn how we can balance environment as well as development. And as an individual, we can realize that when we reduce our requirements, that means when we clean that inner environment which craves for aggrandizement through the material possessions, we can also preserve the external environment around us. Herein, I would like to finish this talk by bringing your attention to a quote by Leonardo da Vinci. Now, he is one person who was multi-talented, and his quote fits in very well over here in this context. He said, learn how to see, realize that everything is interconnected to everything. When this awareness comes in each human being, that we are interconnected with everything around us, and whatever we do on this planet is going to finally come back to us I suppose all these reports coming out from IPCC, all the government initiatives, and the initiatives by people who are working in the environmental field are going to be much more substantial. And we as a human society, human race, community, will be able to not only do justice to our future generations and have sustainable development, but also make our bed in this crusade, I would say, this crusade on the environmental degradation. We will be able to play our role for our future generations as well as for ourselves. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It has been a pleasure being a part of this extremely relevant discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, officer. I think you just heard Air Force officer turn into motivational guru. And I think I must inform you that when the king of Bhutan got son, he did not cut a cake, he did not burn the candles. What he did, he planted 108,000 trees to celebrate the birth of his son. It's a beautiful country. I think one must visit Bhutan to see. Even that if you go by road from India to Bhutan, the journey itself is so refreshing, so enjoying. So another thing, I was very impressed to see the journey of a stone, from mountain starts, and by the time it reaches there, all the struggle, and then we worship that. What a beautiful concept of the Indian culture you have given. I think I read stone, after facing so many hardships, so many struggles, so many dents, and you can see in spite of that, now it achieves a circular shape, and that's why we worship it. I think thank you so much for inspiring the younger generation. So proud of you. We are, because you are from my state, UP, and I never knew before that you are from UP. I knew about you, but not that you have belonged to UP. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time, inspiring us, motivating us. And I think the young generation has got a hero here, and what they can inspire to become, here is the example. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Now we have next person. And Aditya Mukherjee. Aditya Mukherjee is a very young chap, and he's mostly concerned with the environment, and especially the cold drink straw we use. The coffee we take, the cold drink we take, often in the glass they put one straw. And do you know that these straws, they are produced in billions, not only in millions, billions, and finally they end up in the sea and they cannot be recycled. So Aditya did something very marvelous, and he said, refuse if you cannot reuse. That was the basic concept he gave. And I think he inspired many younger generation, and his achievements are not very small, though he's a very young. But in June 2018, he was invited by United Nations to give a talk on his work on the World Environment Day. I think one of the best achievements one can get to be invited by United Nations. And he was the voice of the youth at the CII FICCI seminar on 1st June 2018 at Vigyan Bhavan to celebrate the World Environment Day. And I think there are several stories, and it's a perfect example. If you wish, you can make a big change in this world. And before that, I want to tell Aditya, there is a very interesting story about the straws. And there is a person in Vietnam, his name is Tran Minh Thier. You can see him here in a blue shirt. He saw the same problem, that straws are thrown and they are creating a big nuisance in the environment. So he found a natural grass is there, Lepironia articulata. This grass is hollow like a straw. So what he did, he collected that, cut into pieces, and now he is doing a business of for millions of rupees by supplying these natural straws which are biodegradable, eco-friendly, and all that. I think this information will add something to the Aditya, what I'm doing with these words. I think I welcome Aditya Mukherjee, and please share your wonderful journey of dealing with the environment. Aditya.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction, sir. So I'm a 17-year-old student from New Delhi, India, who's been working in the field of climate action for the past 4 years. I started in 2018, and it's been a long journey. It's been a fun and interesting journey. So it all started in the January of 2018 when I came across a video of a plastic straw being extracted from a turtle's nose. The pain and suffering of the turtle and the nose and the blood flowing out of the turtle's nose really moved me and made me contemplate on the impact we humans have on the environment and how careless we are with our surroundings and with our actions. And that made me think as to how I can do my very little bit to try and give back to society, to try and help our environment, to try and save my future and my planet. And therefore, I started researching on plastic straws because I found that plastic straws are something which can be easily removed from society because it is such a, in my opinion, a useless invention for most of society because we don't need to use a straw to drink. You can drink straight from the glass. If you're using a cutlery and crockery at a restaurant, we can surely use a glass to sip also. We just have to change this mentality of ease. People have got too used to drinking from a straw because it's easy. So how did I tackle that? I went straight to the supplier. I went to the establishment first. I told them about the problem. I told them about the solution, and I gave them the path to the solution because my idea of climate action, not just activism, it is helping deliver solution, helping deliver change. We need to give people a way out of their problem. So I never went and attacked a hotel or a restaurant by saying you're doing this wrong. I should tell them, okay, you're serving plastic straws. This is what are the negatives of plastic straws. This is the data points. Here's the solution. And the best solution I gave them was not to offer a straw at all. I said it is the most best option because if you're using even if you replace a plastic straw with a paper straw, you're still leading to cutting down of trees to build paper straw. So I went and told them, don't give a straw at all and put a placard on every table saying we are a no straws establishment because we care for the environment. Every hotel has done that and they have said that our customers have stopped asking for straws. When you see the placard, they've stopped asking for straws. Our consumption of straws has gone down, so we are saving money as compared to earlier years. And I should tell them that, okay, here, I'll give you the list of suppliers also who are giving good quality products, but you have to do your own financial negotiation because I had nothing to do with the finances. I used to give it to them and they used to be highly accepted and receptive to my viewpoint, and they never made me feel that I was a child. But that being said, they did test me by calling me 4 or 5 times to the hotel just to see whether I was actually passionate for the cause. And I used to keep calling them and keep sending them emails to try and convince them to give up plastic straws. And then I progressed to include other single-use plastic items such as this plastic cutlery and plastic boxes being takeaway boxes, and it was a slow and steady process. And then I also included waste management because that's a very important problem of today's generation is the problem of waste. We've seen in India the problem of open waste disposal. So I went around promoting proper waste management systems, 3-way segregation into dry waste, wet waste, medical waste. Because again, in COVID, we've seen the high importance of medical waste. Then I also included a project very close to my heart, which is called Forest of Hope, which is for planting and nurturing trees. Not only just planting, but you have to nurture trees, and they were native trees. So the idea was to plant 195 trees, 1 tree for the children of every country, and it was to be planted by children. So a hope for tomorrow by Forest of Today. And the idea was to promote the spirit of planting trees and to connect with nature. It also gave children an opportunity to connect with nature when they should touch the soil with their hands and plant that tree. It taught them how to be connected with nature, which also inspired them to take up climate activism at a greater level, at an individual level and at a larger level. And I also started doing these public awareness programs. I ran campaigns where I took youth under my wing and gave them the material, gave them the resources to go and influence others to change their behavior, to give up single-use plastics, to promote waste management. And being the head of environment for my school, I've done a lot of environment-related projects for school. In one project, I led 50 youths, and we were able to convince 2,500 people to give up nearly 7,500 pieces of single-use plastics. And there's a big number coming from this small school. And I told them that even if you make a small change in just your immediate family, immediate circle of friends, it's a huge change. Because if 100 people do just 10 things right, it's better than 10 people doing 100 things right. So there's simple messaging. And I used to always tell them that follow the message or refuse if you cannot reuse, to leave the world a little better than you found it. And yes, I've got a lot of promotions. I've got a lot of, featured many articles and interviews, but I never use that for self-promotion. I've always used those mediums for promotion of my message and promotion of my ideas so that other youths can do the same. They can see that it is not difficult for someone their age to do this. So maybe in order to inspire them to take similar actions.
Thank you so much, Aditya. I think it's a great opportunity to listen to your efforts. You have done very good things. And I think if youth can get inspired by the vision you have seen, and you have shown the way to work, we can make our India a great nation. So before I go further, I would like to invite one very important personality. And she is such a vibrant lady. I cannot imagine, meeting her for the first time 50 years back when she was doing inspection at railway station Charbagh. That time I didn't know her. Only I inquired who is she, because there was a panic on the railway station. Ashima Singh ma'am is actually IRTS officer of 1979 batch. She is the former director of Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management. I must tell you that all the IRTS officers, the best officers who manage the Indian Railways, they are being trained in Baroda and Lucknow. In Lucknow, this is the institute where they are trained. And she worked on the Southeastern Railway, Kolkata and Bilaspur, and Northern Railway, Lucknow Division, and Northeastern Railway, Lucknow Division, and RDSO. DRM on Lucknow Division of NER also she was. A visiting faculty member of IIM and other management institutes, and she has presented papers in the various national and international journals, and she has got GM award and MR award. She is a very nice motivational figure for us. She always inspires, full of positive energy. With these words, I welcome Ma'am Ashima Singh, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, it was very, very inspiring to hear all these speakers, and especially Pradeep, seeing your sign tunes has always been a pleasure. But what we missed today after hearing about the filth which was collected by Sangama was your sign tune, where you were showing that all the waste is collected from one side and then it is put in a van and then taken through the city and it litters all around. Yes, so we would like to end our today's discussion with that particular slide of yours.
Sure.
Okay, friends, so let's talk about this event. I have been associated with this event for the last more than 10 years, and I've seen how it has grown. This year, last year also we had a webinar only. This year also we had a webinar, and we had organized a poster competition. But in that poster competition, I was quite disappointed to see that more than 50% of the posters had started with a negative theme. They had started with a theme that earlier the world was very green, and now with this corona and everything coming, there's going to be a sort of a doom. So today, time is short, but I just was thinking about it, और मुझे कुछ पंक्तियां याद आ गई सूर्यकांत त्रिपाठी निराला. Nirala had lost his wife, and later he lost his daughter in a pandemic exactly 100 years back, which was as bad, or I would say even worse than this present pandemic which we are facing. That was the Spanish flu, which started in 1918. Do you know how many deaths had taken place in that pandemic? It's estimated that almost 5 crore people died out because of the Hini virus. In India, the rural population in the villages was just slashed down to half. More than 50% of our rural population died because of the Spanish flu. So it is not that for the first time the earth is faced with such a major problem like corona. We have had problems, and the earth has always been able to rise up to a solution itself with people like who are sitting here and who are working tirelessly across the globe for looking for solutions. And फिर हमें तो I would like to for the benefit of the users, I would like to quote those lines of Nirala, जो कि अपनी बेटी की मृत्यु के बाद उन्होंने ये कविता लिखी थी, और उस कविता की पंक्तियां हैं, अभी न होगा मेरा अंत, अभी न होगा मेरा अंत, अभी अभी तो आया है मेरे वन में मृदुल बसंत, हरे हरे यह पात डालियां कलियां कोमल गात, मैं ही अपना स्वप्न मृदुल कर फेरूंगा निद्रित कलियों पर जगा एक प्रत्यूष मनोहर, मेरे जीवन का यह प्रथम चरण, इसमें कहाँ मृत्यु है जीवन ही जीवन, अभी पड़ा है आगे सारा यौवन, स्वर्ण किरण कल्लोलों से कहता है बालक मन, मेरे ही अविकसित रूप से विकसित होगा बंधु दिगंत, अभी न होगा मेरा अंत. So nature is not something which can die so easily because of a virus like corona or any such thing. It will live, and especially it will live with the present generation. We have seen children being aware about the nature. We have seen youths being aware about the nature. And it is, I would take the blame on myself that it is our generation which has done the maximum harm to nature. But the future is very bright, and we congratulate Shikha for creating this forum which creates awareness across the globe. So best of luck to all the children and all the young environmentalists. We have a very, very bright future. The nature will teach us how to preserve it. Jo, you all must be remembering about the floods which came in Kedarnath. So वहाँ वो लोग यही कहते थे कि शंकर जी ने encroachment drive चलाई है, anti-encroachment. That all those who had encroached upon the nature, Lord Shankar has wiped out all the encroachments. We had started building the dams across our pious Ganga river. Year before, just last year, all those dams were wiped out. So if we create anything wrong, the nature is very powerful that will save itself by destroying the destroyer. So let us not be the destroyer, let us be the saver. We are too small an entity to say that we can save nature or we can destroy nature. जिसको हम अष्टांग योग में धारणा के प्रयोग कहते हैं कि वो बहुत विस्तृत है. The moment we think of destroying it or we take any step to destroy it, we ourselves will get perished and we will be wiped out of existence. So this corona pandemic or any other pandemic, in a way, this is a result of our unsustainable efforts. And this is a very good lesson to teach us that what we have to do in future. So thank you, all of you, and good future I expect for all the youngsters and the present generation. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your blessings, your kind words. And I think the best thing we learned today is that even the God has the plan to have anti-encroachment drive. And I think now when you see Kedarnath now, you really find it's a big change now. It's all clear. You know.
कितना बच्चा है अभी निकल जा तू
Kindly mute yourself, please. Yeah.
Now I want to tell you something. You know, recently you must have heard there was a cyclone in not only the West Bengal, Odisha side and Andhra Pradesh, but also Arabian Sea side. That means northern Maharashtra, South Gujarat. And in these cyclones, many of the houses are gone. They are damaged. So here is a small bird and she is called oven bird. She lives in Caribbean countries and she makes her house, which is totally cyclone proof. You can see she starts from here and this is there. Now you can clearly see this is the house. This house is cyclone proof, and I think if we design our houses like this, in future we can make a big change if we are living in an area like Andhra Pradesh or towards this side also, Arabian Sea side, you know, that is the western side where the Gujarat, Maharashtra and everything is there. So here is the person and he has brought an architect and he's telling the person that, okay, you want a house like this, no problem. We have appointed our Owen Bird as your architect, and because from outside the house will be like this, but inside will be this design so that in the worst of the cyclone, it is totally safe. So now I would like to invite V.N. Garg Saab. He's a former IAS officer of 1980 batch. You just heard that he was a teacher also. He did MSc Honors in Physics and he was teaching Pradeep Sangwan in Chandigarh. So he served as several important assignments he has got, especially the Agriculture Protection Commissioner, which is the most important coveted post in the government. He was there. And why he's so famous, you know, because he planted 1 crore, that means 10 million trees in a single day in 2007, and which has come up in the Guinness Book of Records. So that's a big achievement on his drive to make the UP a green state. So with these words, he's always inspiring, always a part of Swayam Siddha. So I welcome you, sir. Sir, please give your blessings, share some motivational words for the younger generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, for a nice introduction. And welcome to all the persons, participants, and invitees. First of all, I must put on record that I have been inspired by 4 heroes here. Of course, there are many others. One is Mr. Pradeep Sangwan, who has been able to clear the trekking routes of various mountains in Himachal Pradesh with good success. Then squadron leader Tulika Rani ji, who is the first woman from UP to have scaled Mount Everest and who has been able to inspire us with her example. And of course, our young hero, Aditya Mukherjee, who in 2020 got the award at the international level for doing good work in environment. And the 4th hero is Dr. Shikha Tripathi of Swayam Siddha, who has brought all of us together here and who brings us all together here every year on 23rd August. And I have this proud privilege to be a part of this gathering. Heroes always inspire to those who try to follow them as to what they have done. What is the remarkable qualities of head and heart they must be having. And of course, the amount of hard work, sacrifice, and lots of other anxieties which are there in their minds. They go side by side, and one has to understand that heroes are not gods. They do their heroic efforts through a lot of mental and physical discipline. My salute to all these heroes. And I have little bit my own pens to add to this, because I have been interested in environment for a long time. And for 6 years, I was looking after Forest and Environment Department in UP as Principal Secretary. Now, one thing which I went through almost all the material available on Google on all our heroes, because I thought that I must know them. And I think it was Aditya Mukherjee who gave a statement that out of all the plastics that is produced, only 10 to 15% is recycled. And therefore, we must do away with the rest of the plastics, which is the one-time use kind of thing. I have gone to this problem. This 12% out of 300 million tons, which is added every year. 300 million tons of plastic added every year, 12% is recycled. But mind you, this is only HDPE and PET. The two most used materials are PET and HDPE. But the second most important material is polypropylene. Polypropylene is not being recycled because there is no technology for it. Only very recently in USA, some scientist from Procter and Gamble has invented it and set up a project called Pure Cycle. And with this, polypropylene will be recycled. So instead of 12%, we will have higher percentage of recycling. This is the first point I want to make, that we need more and more innovations in technology also, apart from other things. The second is that I very closely went through all the efforts of Mr. Sangwan, and as I have already recorded that I admire it. But basically, there are 7 different types of players, and we have to take them along. One is plastic producers. Second is the brands like Amazon and all those. Third is retailers. Fourth is recyclers. Fifth is waste management companies. Sixth is policymakers. And second is community and NGOs like us. So all these 7 types of people, they have to get together, and only then this problem will be really solved. And people are coming together because this problem is very well appreciated by everybody. And the third, which of course is more academic right now, but still I think unless you dream, you can't really achieve. So we are to dream for a circular economy. By circular economy, I mean an economy where there is no wastage, where there is 100% recycling or composting, not 12%. That should be our dream, because one way of looking at it is to do without plastics. Now that perhaps will not be possible. You have to have a circular economy instead of the linear economy of using and then discarding and then throwing it into landfill and environment. So plastic has to remain within the economy, but outside the environment. That is the circular economy, which we have to create, which we have to dream of. And with this, all stakeholders have to really get together. I am really happy and I'm proud to be associated with Swayam, Siddha, and all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. And I think it's great to hear that you are appreciating Dr. Shikha Tripathi, and she deserves everything in order to congratulated, to be appreciated, to be encouraged, because she gives us a platform every year to come here to get inspired by so many heroes who are doing something great for the nature. Thank you so much, sir. And I'll show you a few interesting things, some sign tunes more. Quickly, I'll just go before I talk about the next very important person. This is a small lizard which is found in the Texas desert in America. And desert means very, very hot. But how this lizard keeps her body cool? What she does, she has a special mechanism in her skin. And throughout the night, she keeps on absorbing the moisture from the atmosphere. It stores that moisture, and throughout the day, she keeps on discharging this. And this way, her entire body is very moist, very cool during the daytime in this desert. So this is Texas horned lizard. Now scientists, they have learned from this lizard and they have designed beautiful green bricks. These bricks, what they do, they absorb moisture in the night time. In the daytime, they release the moisture. So your entire building is air conditioned without using electricity. And this is a small thing, that this kind of R&D work, the research we have learned from a small lizard. So here is, lizard is here, and she visited India, and she was asked, that what is the secret of your thing, how did you do it, for keeping your body cool? So she said, actually, once I visited India, that too Punjab, and I used everybody's telling, oh, Thandrak. So then I asked people, what does it mean? They said, keep cool. So when I came back to America, I thought I must learn from that word, oh, Thandrak. So with these words, I think I would like to invite the next person, who's a very important man. You can see him always on the television channel, giving comments in a very crisp way. Most dashing, most vibrant speaker, Dr. Vikram Singh, former IPS officer of the 1974 batch, who is presently the Pro-Chancellor of the Noida International University. And he was the Director General Police of the UP, I think biggest force to command with. And he has done a lot of work in the area of environment also, because he got PhD in ecology from Kumai University. So you can imagine for that, he was also given an award, a special award that a Limca Book of Records mentioned him as the most highly decorated police officers. And he got the President Police Medal for Gallantry 1986, Bard President Police Medal for Gallantry, then President Police Medal for Gallantry, Bard President Police Medal for Gallantry. The list is very, very long. He has written 3 books. And one the very important book is there, Human Rights and Police. I think it's a very important book he has written. Also, he has covered Chambal dacoits, Baghis are the bandits, and the ecosystem of Central Himalayas. So with these words, I think it's a great honor for me, a great privilege for me to invite Dr. Vikram Singh for his motivational talk. And blessings to each one of us here.
Thank you very much. जब प्रभु प्रसन्न होता है तो एक प्रदीप देता है, और जब प्रभु आह्लादित हो जाता है तो छप्पर फाड़ के देता है, 2-2 प्रदीप दे दिए आज के ओजस्वी वक्ताओं. There are sumptuous takeaways. There are 2 pradeeps, and the names are not fortuitous. Swayam, Siddha. And then the theme of today is rise and serve. The Kathopanishad says, and Swami Vivekananda's clarion call to the nation was, Uttishti Jagriti Prapya Varani Bodhat. Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. And Mahatma Gandhi said, service is not possible unless rooted in love. The galaxy of wonderful speakers that I have seen, there have been sumptuous takeaways. And I find that they have lived their life, and every speaker has given pearls of wisdom. I wish I could reiterate it. Pradeep ji, I salute you for your valor. I'm not a coward. But today, I don't think with all my chivalry and valor, I can't do 1% of what you have achieved. And like Mr. V.N. Garg, a Guinness Book World Record holder himself, I salute you. I salute your parents for what you have done. And this vibrant platform has been instrumental. This is a lucky platform. All those who have graced this platform were recognized by the nation and the Prime Minister in times to come, either before they came or after they came. And there are any number of examples I could give. Since time is less, I will only acknowledge the greatness of each and every speaker. Ashimaji quoted the Saroj Smriti of Mahakavi Niralaji and the agony and anguish of a bereaved father. But yes, I quote John Donne, the English poet, our follies are like this, like Mahakavi Kalidas, who sat on the branch and started chopping at his own roots, little realizing. And the lines of John Donne are, I run to death, and death runs to me as fast, and all my pleasures are like those of yesterday. We seem to be in a fast-forward mode. And I go back to squadron leader Tulika Raneji. What a wonderful name. She has painted the canvas of nature, and she says, yesterday profits were earned through expediency, and today profits will have to be earned with integrity. Otherwise, the nature is unsparing. The nature is unsparing because you have seen the examples of Kedarnath, you've seen the examples of the dams being washed away. Nature does not need us, we need nature. Let us not fool, because if the wrath and the third eye of Shiva opens, it will be devastation all around. We need to understand that yes, there is a limit to resilience, the homeostasis property of any ecosystem. And if we were, and we already are on the pathway of unmitigated disaster, it is for us to make amends before it's too late. But our hope is with youngsters like Aditya, which translates into Surya, which translates into sun. Squadron leader Tulika ji, who will paint and give a new beginning, a new dimension to anything and any postulate. Pradeep ji, who was a lighthouse and a beacon light and a galaxy of learning and a karma yogi. Squadron leader Tulika ji mentioned Aparigrah and Asteya. They are also part of the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, and which also incorporates other attributes. The Nav Mahavrat, they are negative virtues, that is truthfulness, ahimsa, they are all apart. It is not the platform to discuss the Nav Mahavrats, but the fact of the matter, they are so closely intertwined that it is difficult to distinguish one from the other. They are highlighted that the best practices of India and the nation, that the Bishnoi community that will not pick a twig from a tree unless they feel that it is necessary and it is imperative and replaceable, and they first with folded hands request and beg forgiveness and then pluck out a twig from a tree. Many of us stars owe their misery to the Bishnoi community against all temptations and against all pressures and pulls. They gave and took a very principled stand, and every one of us will have to have a Bishnoi instance. Our scriptures, the Shanti Patha, after every home, enjoins that there should be peace. Om Dev Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Antarikshit Shanti, Apashada, Aushite Shanti. There should be peace in the plant kingdom. There should be peace in the atmosphere. There should be peace in the space. There should be peace in the ocean. Not only peace in our home and peace in our bank balances. This greed, as Squadron leader Tulika ji has said, is not taking us anywhere. This earth is leading to unearth, and this sampatti is leading to vipatti. Therefore, the time has come, the clarion call, and I must compliment Shikhaji and Swayam Siddha and the extended family of Swayam Siddha to instead of cursing the darkness, let us light a lamp. And today is the day, the 23rd of August every year, to light the lamp and to give an example, showcase the excellent work done by our karma yogis, the youngsters, and from whom I can learn. And today indeed is the day to reaffirm, child is the father of man. All the three youngsters, Aditya ji, Squadron leader Tulika ji, Pradeep Sangwan ji, young in years, but mature in experience, mature in what they have been able to lay out, the roadmap for all of us. The grace and elegance of your words will not be roadmap for just senior citizens, like Mr. V.N. Garg and me, but they will be the roadmap for the entire country and the world. Swayam Siddha, Dr. Shikhaji, Dr. Pradeep ji, may God always bless your path. Yashasvi Bhava, Vijay Bhava. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring word. You're full of energy, power-packed speech. And I think whenever I listen to you, I can never forget. Even if you speak for 30 seconds, you are bound to make an impact. Nobody can forget you. And especially when we listen to your comments on television channels, each comment is so powerful. Other speakers only listen to you. Nobody disrupts you, when you are making an argument on some TV channel discussion. And I think you are academician par excellence. So thank you so much, sir, for blessing us and gracing this occasion and telling the newer generation, inspiring the three achievers also equally. Thank you so much, sir. Now we have one more speaker today, and that is Dr. Shubhi Jayan Agarwal, and she'll be sharing something to you. Over to Shubhi Jayan Agarwal.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Good afternoon. Actually, it's being after 12. So sorry, I don't want to take too much of time. But thank you, Dr. Shikha Tripathi ji. Actually, when you called me, I could not, associate with Swayam Swadhya. But after realizing that, I really feel so proud to be part of such a wonderful, eminent speakers who have given and inspired us throughout this journey. And believe me, I find myself as a very, very proud member, so that I just can be, associated. Somehow you gave me this platform to tell a little bit about my initiative. So thank you so much. It is really, maybe after this program, I will definitely call you up to, thank you. So yes, so we have eminent, obviously all our speakers are eminent, and Dr. Vikram Singh sir, it's such a privilege to see you live, because we have always seen you on television, being a part of lovely discussions, panel, and telling a lot about India and everything. But today, seeing you here live, it's such a great opportunity. Thank you so much. So a little bit about myself. I am Dr. Shubhi. I did my PhD from IIT Roorkee in 2007 in organic chemistry. And after that, being married to a Indian Navy personnel, I actually had lots of transfer. Finally, we went to, we got the chance to go to Bombay, because Bombay is a hub of, it's a headquarter of Indian Navy. And there I started working as postdoc, and I was visiting scientist in TFR, which is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Colaba. Again, a very, very profound university, they have been doing extremely good work. So a little bit about, if I'm not, okay, let me share my slides and let me share the screen so that, okay, are you able to see?
Yeah, Shubhi, we are able to.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So, but from where I will be moving, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So a little initiative that I have started 2-3 years back. This is on the terms of Nanny Scientist, which is actually it is an initiative for school-going children, where we are actually teaching them practical science instead of just mugging what is there in NCERTs. So we are actually, I believe that NCERT books are even the best books which are found in India, which we are actually doing extremely good. We ourselves have done NCERTs, but these days people are looking for different ways of doing, like lots of it has become a business now. Education has become a business now. So to avoid all this, we are trying to actually give the students the way of education which is required. So we are getting into the practical science, and it's a very famous Chai and Why, which is, it's an outreach program which is being done by Dr. Arnab Bhattacharya. He was my mentor, and there I learned that how the children can, do so brightly when they are taught properly. So this is our main focus, that we want to educate the children the way the education should be done. So the thing is that this is a TFR office at Kolaba, very beautiful campus. And then I was associated with it, there was lots of workshops which were done in different schools. Like in the Fort area, we have Alexandra School. We used to go there with taking our whole set of chemicals, and there we used to show the children the live experiments, which was really very important for them to understand what is the science behind where we are sitting. So if you are sitting, near the table, chair, the curtains, everything has a science associated with it. So to understand the concept, first you should know the basics of science, and that is only possible when we have the conceptual science, when we talk about the practical science. And here I will just talk what is a scientist, basically, or nothing great deal. Anybody can be a scientist. You yourself is a scientist till the time we have that curiosity in our minds. And the scientist is only the person who asks, who predicts, who watch, and who writes, and who talk about lots and lots of things. So basically our provision is only to it's our initiative that we want a very, very beautiful earth around us. That is being said that go green. So there is no planet B which is found in this world, because after all, our next generations have to live on this earth only, and this is the legacy that we are going to give to our next generations. So definitely the science is all about curiosity. And then, it's like the curiosity which we are talking about. The curiosity is the fuel. It is the fuel. It's a fuel for discovery. Yes, if we discover something, for that curiosity is required. And every child has curiosity in them. So we are actually making good persons. We are bringing that, we are making, we are actually seeding the sapling in the hearts of a child who understands science properly, and we are not creating robots. So now the thing is that people have started saying, why you cannot teach this much in this much time? I tell them that I am not making machines. I don't want to, play with the childhood of the small children. They know better than their parents, actually, because the exposure is very high these days. They are very, very smart kids. They are even smarter than their parents. But the thing is, all the parents are the same, because we are in the competitive world where we think that a child, when it is born, you are playing with the childhood of that child who is, who is actually trying to cope up the pressure which we have actually built for them. And the child is, nowhere. Finally, the child's, future is lost because of the expectations which the parents, with the family, with the school, with the principal, and the education wants from the child. So in a very simple way, and as a layman language, I just would like to just tell that it's about a small presentation, if we have time, if ma'am allows me, a very small presentation.
Yeah, Shubhi, can go ahead.
Okay.
Can you make it full screen?
Sir, yes, sir, I can do that.
Shubhi, in case there is an issue, you can go ahead like this. We can see that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Just two more seconds and I'm done. Okay, so here we finish this. So this is what I just wanted to tell everyone, that it's a very small initiative. We are just a very small, I'm just like a small fish in a big pond, maybe a ocean. But the only thing is, when I started this initiative, I just had 2 children with me. This is something like 2-3 years back. And one of them was my child. So you can imagine, when I started with this initiative, I was with only 2 children, but now we have a team of many kids with many classes going on, maybe some weekend and weekdays. So batches are there, and it is amazing feeling to serve the nation, to serve the minimum way in which we can help the community. So thank you very, very much for giving me this platform, and I wish I could help and serve, and in any way whichever ma'ams asked me to do. So on that note, I would always it's being said by our honorable APJ Abdul Kalam sir, that the best brains of the nation may be found on the last benches of the class. So it is not every time necessary that you have to be a topper, you have to be in first 5. It can happen that even the last child comes up with an idea which can change the world. So let's hope for the best. Let's go green, and let's go the way the community and the eco-friendly world we should make. So thank you so much for giving me this platform. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Shubhi. Can you close the presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She said very nice thing, from quoting Dr. Kalam, that it is not important to be a big scientist, great person. No, you can make a big change, even if you are a small person, you are a backbencher. So here, Dr. Vikram Singh was mentioning about the Vishnoi community. So I thought I should show you this picture. This is the lady from the Vishnoi community in Rajasthan. And this picture got the international award, and he is the Himanshu Vyas. He is the photographer of Hindustan Times. Why this picture got the international award? Because this is a small deer you can see on the left-hand side. His mother died, and he was about to die because there was no other deer nearby. So this Vishnoi lady is feeding her daughter at the same time feeding this baby deer. And this was the reason this picture got the award and showed the world how India is concerned. And there are people in India which are very much concerned in conserving the biodiversity, in saving the wildlife. Now, this is something Dr. Ashima Singh was asking, this cartoon. So I want to show you this particular cartoon. I remember it was the World Environment Day, and I was giving a lecture on the state level function of the government of UP. Minister was sitting with me, the Minister for Environment, government of UP, Principal Secretary, Environment, Director Environment, and in audience about more than 1,000 people. And that time, 25 years back, you see how the garbage was taken in a truck openly. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता था कि जो भी कूड़ा है, तो आपके पीछे अगर आप उसके स्कूटर पे, मोटरसाइकिल पे, तो पता नहीं कौन सा पॉलिथीन का बैग, भीगा जूता, प्लास्टिक की बोतल आपके ऊपर गिर जाए. And you were always scared, और आपकी कोशिश होती थी ना कैसे इस ट्रक से आगे निकल जाए. और ये पूरा कूड़ा बिखराता हुआ जाता था. जैसे अभी डॉक्टर विक्रम साहब कह रहे थे, मैं भी कहना चाहता हूँ कि महापुरुषों के बारे में ये प्रसिद्ध है ना, वो जिस रास्ते से गुजरते हैं अपने पद चिन्ह छोड़ते जाते हैं. तो सेम वे where was the route of this truck? It used to throw all the garbage on route. So what happened? Here you can see the driver is totally bindas, no tension is there. तो his friend is asking, यार तुम ये 6-7 ट्रक कूड़ा लेके निकलते हो, फेंकते कहाँ पे हो लखनऊ में? उसे कहा इसमें क्या चक्कर है, कूड़ा ट्रक में भरा, शहर के 4 चक्कर लगाए, कूड़ा खत्म। पर इस छोटे से कार्टून ने क्या किया कि immediately the minister stood up. He asked, where is the municipal commissioner of Lucknow? And one person got up. He said, I give you 15 days. After 15 days, all the trucks of Lucknow Nagar Nigam will be carrying the garbage in a totally covered manner, not openly like this. So one small cartoon changed the entire set of working in Lucknow. So this is, I wanted to show you because Ashma Singh ma'am wanted this to be shown. So with these words, I think over to Dr. Shikha Tripathi. She will tell you what more happened, before the 23rd August, we were busy in doing something. What was the reason? And then how so many people were participating in the program before this program today. And the way they were participating, she will brief everything and she will share each and everything. Over to Dr. Shikha Tripathi.
Thank you, Doctor. In fact, we were all lost in the wonderful world of inspiring speeches, experiences by our youngsters, as well as our veterans, our gurus, and also your sign tunes. Everybody is looking forward to your sign tune, and also the inspiring stories that you're sharing. Now, I would like to share, as you have asked, before 23rd, as we always do, there is a contest that we organize for children. And why children? Because children would be the future to carry all these messages which we learn through this. It's a learning lesson. This forum is a learning lesson. It's a lifetime lesson. So that's why we do this contest. And there is the trophy which I would like to show to everybody. I hope you can see this trophy. And would you be able to see this? Yeah, so this is a trophy which is Dr. Veer Bhadra, this very prestigious trophy, Dr. Veer Bhadra Mishra Award for the best school who secures first position in this contest. So this year we had poster competition, and to everybody on this forum, I, with all privilege, would like to share that for last 2 years we have crossed the boundaries of UP, and this year 9 schools from 4 states, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh have participated. 75 children from grade 10 to 12 have participated in this contest. And this was poster making. They prepared poster on how do they see environment around them. So basically this was idea given by V.K. Joshi sir, that let them draw a picture of how do they see environment around them, which would be based on the territory they belong to, the geographical territory they belong to, like hilly terrains, how things happening there, the coastal area, how things are happening there. So this is how the contest was organized. And the jury included V.K. Joshi sir, Dr. Shrivastava, who is an expert on this, and also Ashima Singh madam. So these 3 were jury members, and they're all experts. So before I announce the results, I would like to request V.K. Joshi sir to brief about what are the criteria jury had to select these prizes. So over to you, sir. Joshi sir.
Thank you, Shikhaji. And thanks to Swayam Siddha for giving me this platform every year. I find that when we are meeting in person, of course, that was a different feeling, but the number of participants was much less. Whereas in virtual world, the number of participants has increased. It's a good good thing, but there was a competition, as she said, a poster competition. It's like a race. Some people win, some people lose. So first of all, I want to congratulate all the 75 participants who have actively participated in this race. And we had to draw a line somewhere because almost all of them were similar. When we first took a browse through the entries, we found that more or less all the entries were similar. As I said, it's a poster competition. Posters has to speak for itself. And you may not be a good artist. You can be a good cartoonist even. Even then your poster will speak. You have just now seen the posters of Dr. Pradeep Srivastava, and they speak volumes about things. So your poster, we expected that they will speak about the environment as you see around. Unfortunately, this COVID has taken over our thinking. So majority of the students, participants were bogged down by that COVID feeling that before COVID world was like this, after COVID world will be like this, or the environment, how it has deteriorated and how it can be changed. That was, it was, well, okay, but we wanted something special. So those who could put something, some special effort in their poster, they were the ones who won the race. But those who lost the race, it doesn't mean that they were useless. They are very good because they have participated. Participation itself amounts to almost winning the race. So it's a matter of, when you see an Olympic race, it's a matter of fraction of nanoseconds, very few seconds. So likewise, here also, the race was neck to neck. And I must congratulate the winners. And I will also congratulate those who participated because their participation made this race possible. Only if those 3 or 5 people, boys or girls had participated, there wouldn't have been any competition. So it's good that all of you participated and wish you all the best and best of luck for the coming races.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing us the criteria of jury to select this poster. So I begin with congratulating all 75 participants, children, and everybody will get e-certificates. And now I would be announcing the, the winners. Winners mean winners. Everybody is winner, but the ones who held certain prizes. This year we have introduced 2 special prizes. So I will begin with this special prize. So one special prize is, it goes to Sharwani B, grade 12, Westbury School, Tenali, Andhra Pradesh. So congratulations to you. And the second special prize goes to Sai Uday Bhamidi, Sri Ramnagar campus, Sri Gauthami School. These are schools from Andhra Pradesh. Now I'm announcing the Consolation Prize. So the Consolation Prize goes to, there are 3 prizes the jury has decided. G. Charan from Sri Gauthami School, Gandhipuram campus, Andhra Pradesh. The second Consolation Prize goes to Zara Fatima, grade 10, New Apostolic English High School, Maharashtra. And another Consolation Prize goes to Thanmai Gilipalli, grade 10, The Sun School, Vizag Nagaram, Andhra Pradesh. So congratulations to all of you. Now I would start announcing the prizes further. Third prize goes to Namrata Bajpayee, grade 12, Vidya Gyan Academy, Sitapur, Uttar Pradesh. Second prize goes to Devasya Agarwal, grade 12, MC Kejriwal Vidyapeeth, West Bengal. It's in Havra. And now comes the chance of the most prestigious Dr. Veer Bhadra Mishra Trophy. So Dr. Veer Bhadra Mishra Trophy goes to, this year, to all of our pleasure, West Bengal. It goes to Devdeep Banerjee, MC Kejriwal Vidyapeeth, Havra, West Bengal. So this is the trophy that is coming to you, West Bengal, MC Kejriwal Vidyapeeth. They have incredible, the child who's won the first first prize has a wonderful painting which was created. So congratulations to everybody who has won the prizes and also has earned the certificate. I know all the schools were closed, and despite that, all the teachers, mentors, and the principals, they mobilized the students to participate. I'm extremely grateful to Mr. Aditya Das from Andhra Pradesh, who helped me to get all these schools, entry and all the other schools. Now, before I, propose vote of thanks from the core of my heart and from the minds of all team members. I just quickly, maybe just for a second, I'll take, we have Anil Shukla ji who has joined us from overseas. Anil Shukla ji would like to say hi just for a second. Anil Shukla ji, I think is awake and he's joined us. Are you there, Anil Shukla ji?
जी नमस्कार, मैं बिल्कुल बैठा हूँ और ये मेरे घर का प्रोग्राम है। मैं पिछले 10 साल से बराबर आपके साथ में जुड़ा हूँ। इधर कोरोना की वजह से हिंदुस्तान आना नहीं हो सका तो रिमोट से ही मैं पार्टिसिपेट करता हूँ और इट इज़ ऑलवेज ए प्लेजर टू बी विद एवरीवन इन दिस प्रोग्राम। एंड बहुत से हमारे पुराने और साथी जो शुरू में जुड़े थे आज तक जुड़े हुए हैं। दैट स्पीक्स वॉल्यूम्स अबाउट how we deliver this program and what we talk about in this program. Dr. Joshi, Mr. Garg, Dr. Vikram Singh, Pradeep Srivastava ji, and quite a few other people that are there since the time we started this program. I think I was with you in the first program when we started, the very first program. So it's really very heartening to see that we are growing and growing phenomenally, and adding on more and more dimensions now, expanding to other states beyond UP, and hopefully one day we'll also add some School of Canada in this program.
Do yeah. Thank you so much, Anilji, and our team is intact, whether you're here or overseas, we are intact. And so thank you so much. Augustine is also with us. In case if he can say hi quickly. Augustine has joined after a long time, 2-3 years later. In case if he's here, Augustine, say hi to everyone. We just
yes, very much. I'm here. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. You see, my DP, if you had noticed, had Taj Mahal behind it. And Taj, as you know, was is a monument created by a man for the love of his wife. But his grandmother had created the Humayun's tomb before that for the love of her husband. And but Shah Jahan actually had created a whole city for his daughter, Jahanara, and that is called Shah Jahanabad. I'm saying all this because, Shikha, you always remind me of these great monuments because you create such a beautiful monument for your father. So this whole program is a monument for a daughter's love to her father. And I stand always in awe of that spirit. And what you create is not anything small. You see, I come from a religion which believes in communion of saints. And what you are creating is something called the communion of what I should say saints turned scientists or scientists turned saints. So this is a great spirit. And I think the very idea of this August 23rd being celebrated like this must catch on so that other children and other people for their love of their dear ones could do things like this. Create a communion of this sort. So congratulations to you and thank you for continuing to involve me. And I will continue to be, sorry for that slight break, I will continue to be part of this. But I have a request to make to you. Before you started all this and when your great father was alive, you had another love, and that was brainstorming with children. So I want you to come back to the brainstorming with children because you taught me the science, the art and the science of brainstorming with children. So I would like you to come back to that because, so we should do something great on how to brainstorm with children, and I'll discuss that privately with you. And I'm very happy to see Ghat Xavier because, and it's speaking about 1 crore trees. Now, but that is the Old Testament. We have to start the New Testament now. The New Testament would be getting 1 crore people to plant 100 trees each. So we got to pass on this mission further. And as far as Dr. Pradeep Srivastava is concerned, if I could change the Lord's Prayer, the Lord's Prayer says, "Give me this day my daily bread." I would add one more sentence to his, and also give me one sign tune every day. Because the way he teaches, the way he trains, this is amazing. And people should get used to the idea of turning things into sign tunes, from cartoons to sign. We all love cartoons, but sign tunes become, very entertaining. And as for Ashimaji, I should tell her that poem was about me, Nirala's poem, because I've lost so much in this pandemic. And I felt very deeply touched by that poem. I have to leave that poem. Thank you very much. But what I remember most about Ashimaji is in this huge crowded Lucknow, amorphous Lucknow, she had created a Garden of Eden. Absolutely nature friendly. I mean, I have lived in that campus, peacocks would come and visit you. It's an amazing thing. That's what Ashimaji is about. She creates paradises, and I'm glad to see her again. And as far as Mr. Vikram Singh is concerned, but the last time we met, we sat together, something great happened. I'm not going to tell you what it was. But I think now it's time that we sit, we are very close by, but we are so far and so close and yet so far. So I need to meet him again so that something else can happen. I'll do that, sir.
Anytime, most welcome.
I will do that. I'll come. I'll meet you. So to me, this was a great event and continues to be a great event. But as I said, I want Shikha back into her first love, which is brainstorming with children. We need to teach that art to the world. So we'll get into that. And I'm glad Shubhi came in, though in a very brief while. We haven't yet very clear what Shubhi actually does. I'll get back to her separately and find out, and maybe we'll see. This nano scientist is a great idea. And so we need to develop that. So I will work with her on that. And thanks to everybody. And VK Joshi, I haven't forgotten you. You've been one of the finest friends. But we are always on social media. We talk to each other. It's much love. And there are more friends I can see, but I will not get into all of them. The day will not end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Anytime and every time when you come, you inspire and you really make it so unique.
बोल रही है मेडिसिन इसमें जो कीटो ऐड इन्होंने 2 टैबलेट बताई है ना उसने बताया है कल आएंगे सब
एक बार वोट ऑफ थैंक जो मैं देना चाहती हूँ दे लूं उसके बाद और फर्स्ट can I request everybody to accept me kindly just 1 second. Yeah, so this is the time when it is not a customary. Excuse me, can you kindly mute? Somebody speaking. Can you mute? Yeah. So this is a time when all of us from the team Swayam, Siddha and IOCL, this is not the normal vote of thanks. These are wrapped in feeling of everyone who has been on this forum. And I please request to please mute. If somebody kindly mute, this is the just last part of the entire event. We just can kindly mute, please. Somebody speaking constantly, please mute. Can I request Mrs. Neeru to kindly mute? Yeah. Kindly mute. Yeah, please. Yeah. So I begin with expressing my gratitude to Dr. Vikram Singh, who's an inspirer and the one when all of us now, even it includes Anil Shuklaji, who is overseas, when Dr. Vikram Singh, Shri V.N. Garg sir, and Ma'am Ashima, who's always been with us, when you say you are there, you don't need to say, but for this, even when you make your presence, final and consent, you always do that. For us, it is faith. It is a faith that things would go well. I know the God is with us. So this is how you mean to us. Since inception, for being with us, and you have been one very inspiring personality. Apart from being inspiring personality, you enable me and my team to do this event. Oh, sir, I am always grateful to you, and I look forward to your presence every time till the event is there and till I'm there. So my gratitude to Vikram Singh sir, to VN Garg sir. I'm grateful to you, Garg sir, to give me compliment. It's all your humility. I know I'm even not near the compliment, but then I'm grateful to you. In gratitude, I express my gratitude to you. To Ma'am Ashima Singh, who's been my mentor, she mothers this event. I'm grateful to you, ma'am. Mr. Pradeep Sangwan, you are very humble that you consented in a very short notice. You consented, and you really have inspiring demonstration effect to everybody who's joined you. Probably we'll try to do our bit. I'm grateful to squadron leader Tulika Rani, and she's somebody who brings pride to every woman who sees her. So I'm very inspired by you, madam. Aditya, the little youngster who has done so much. So all children who litter garbage or the one who think that we are too small to do anything, here is a boy who's done so much, So he's one who says that it's not impossible, I am possible. I'm very grateful to Dr. Shubhi. In a very small, at a short notice, she was able to share that what she's doing, and she's doing a great job. Very grateful to Augustine who made it, Anil Shuklaji who's been a part of it. I'm grateful to Kel Vinay because of whom I could get Madam Tulika. I'm grateful to all the schools who have been participating, all the 9 schools who are participating, their principals and their teachers. A special gratitude to IIT Roorkee Alumni Association. Because of this association, I'm able to connect and do this event. It's a great support that I've gotten from them. And then a special, my gratitude to my friends, Punky, Sadhna, and all my dear audience who have joined us. The list is long. I don't want to miss out any name. I know each one of you matter a lot, all the students, but then since all of you have spent time online, so much of time you have spent here, and I know all of you are busy because it's a working day for other states. Thanks everyone. Look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks a lot, sir. And thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks everyone. Thank you very much. With this, I conclude. The trophy would reach MC Kejriwal, Havra, West Bengal, and all certificate would reach to the participants who have participated. All 75 of you will get. Congratulations to everyone. Thanks everyone. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And thanks, Harish Chandra ji. I can see Rajiv and Meena. Thanks, everyone. Anil Joshi ji, you can sleep now. You really made this happen. Thank you very much. Rajiv Sinha ji, thanks. Thanks, Aslam. Thank you. And thanks all 75. I know many of you, all 75 kids could not join because they're running exams right now. So, but then the teachers have joined, all 4 states principals, and they have joined here. Thanks everyone. So special congratulations. This trophy, I would want any one of you to win next year. Okay. This year it is going to West Bengal. Meena, thank you so much. I can see you, Meena and Rajiv. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure being in this program.
Thank you very much. She's also there. So thanks everyone. She's seeing it from a different state. So with this, I conclude and good luck. Enjoy yourself.